There's a question many people ask themselves after having experienced or witnessed a complicated relationship. How does a narcissist behave in a couple? Behind the facade of charm, confidence, and apparent control that often characterizes the narcissist lies a profoundly different way of loving, one driven by the need for control, the fear of vulnerability, and a constant oscillation between idealizing and devaluing the partner. In this video, we'll explore, with both psychological insight and empathy, the typical dynamics of a narcissist within a romantic relationship, to understand how their emotional world works and how one can protect themselves from relationships that risk becoming toxic or draining. From a clinical perspective, narcissism is not just about vanity or egocentrism. It is a complex psychological construct that concerns how a person builds and regulates their sense of identity. The DSM-5 describes narcissistic personality disorder as a pervasive pattern of grandiosity, a constant need for admiration, and a lack of empathy. However, modern psychology distinguishes between grandiose narcissism and vulnerable narcissism. In the first case, the person appears confident, dominant, often charming and charismatic. In the second, beneath the facade lies deep fragility, a constant fear of rejection or inadequacy. Both types, however, share a common difficulty: the inability to form authentic and reciprocal intimacy. When a narcissist enters a relationship, at first they may seem like the perfect partner. They are attentive, seductive, intense, and know exactly what to say to make the other person feel special. This phase is often described as love bombing, a bombardment of affection, gestures, and grand declarations meant to fully capture the other person's attention and admiration. In reality, this isn't genuine love, but an unconscious strategy of control. The narcissist needs to feel indispensable and admired. During this stage, they construct an idealized image of the couple, one in which they see themselves as the savior, the perfect partner, the one who gives meaning and value to the relationship. Over time, however, something changes. When the idealization phase fades, the partner begins to be seen differently, not as a source of endless validation, but as a threat to the narcissist's fragile balance. This is when the opposite mechanism emerges: devaluation. The narcissist starts to criticize, distance themselves, or make the partner feel inadequate. This often happens subtly, through sarcasm, silence, comparisons, or ambiguous behavior. This isn't random cruelty. It's a way of reestablishing emotional hierarchy: the narcissist above, the partner below. It helps them avoid emotional dependence and maintain control over the relationship. One of the most evident traits of a narcissist in a couple is their lack of genuine empathy. They may appear caring and attentive, but rarely can they truly put themselves in the other person's shoes. The partner's emotions are often minimized, ignored, or perceived as threats. If the partner is sad, the narcissist may interpret that sadness as hidden criticisms. If the partner feels happy about something personal, the narcissist may perceive it as competition or loss of attention. Everything revolves around their perception of self. As psychoanalyst Otto Kernberg explained, the narcissist's inner world is unstable, alternating between feelings of grandiosity and emptiness, and the relationship becomes the arena where they regulate their self-esteem. In a relationship with a narcissist, communication is often a battlefield. Every sensitive topic becomes a defensive confrontation. Even constructive feedback is taken as a personal attack. In these moments, the narcissist may react with anger, withdrawal, or manipulation, using tactics such as gaslighting, making the other doubt their own perception of reality, or the silent treatment, punishing silence. These strategies are not always conscious, but they serve a purpose: to protect their fragile self-image from any perceived threat. Another recurring feature is their constant need for validation. The narcissist lives for the gaze of the other. They need to be admired, desired, recognized. When that doesn't happen, they may react with emotional detachment, coldness, or even infidelity, seeking new sources of admiration. In this sense, the relationship becomes a mirror. As long as it reflects the narcissist's idealized image, things go smoothly. When the mirror cracks, the crisis begins. The partner of a narcissist may, over time, develop deep emotional confusion. At first, they feel uniquely loved, then gradually begin to doubt themselves, feel guilty, and lose confidence in their own perceptions. This is the result of a relationship where one's identity is slowly eroded. Often, those who love a narcissist try to adapt, pleasing them, avoiding conflict, or attempting to save them. But as therapist Wendy Bihari points out, this only reinforces the cycle of power and dependency. The narcissist doesn't seek an equal partner, but rather a reflection that sustains their ideal self. However, it's important to remember that a narcissist's behavior stems from deep emotional wounds. Behind the facade of control and strength lies a fragile self, shaped by fears of abandonment and shame. Many narcissists experience childhoods with overly critical or overly idealizing parents, preventing them from developing a stable sense of self. For this reason, the need for admiration becomes a survival mechanism. Understanding this dynamic doesn't mean justifying it. It means recognizing that destructive behavior often has its roots in suffering. That said, it's crucial to distinguish between understanding and tolerance. Understanding doesn't mean accepting toxic behavior or losing oneself in the process. In relationships with narcissists, the key word is boundaries. Setting limits, saying no, recognizing manipulation, and protecting one's self-esteem are acts of self-care. It's also essential not to fall into the trap of trying to heal the narcissist. Change can only happen if there's genuine inner motivation and a structured therapeutic path. When a narcissist begins psychotherapy, they can start to develop self-awareness. Through psychodynamic, cognitive, or self-psychology approaches, therapy aims to integrate the fragmented parts of the self and foster a more authentic connection with their emotions. It's a long and challenging process that requires humility and courage. But when the narcissist begins to tolerate vulnerability and to see the other as a separate person, they can finally start building healthier, more balanced relationships. In conclusion, a narcissist in a couple behaves like someone who seeks love yet fears it deeply. Their way of loving is full of contradictions. They crave closeness but fear intimacy. They idealize and then destroy. They conquer and then flee. Understanding these dynamics is the first step in not being trapped by them. If you recognize yourself in this kind of relationship, know that you're not alone. Awareness is your greatest strength. It allows you to choose, to protect yourself, and above all, to distinguish between the need to be loved and true love. Because real love doesn't demand that you disappear, it allows you to stay whole, even within the relationship.